See a 6 foot tall, floating greenish leathery monster that has one giant hole where its eye used to be in the center of its face. Above the hollowed out eye are now 10 eye stalks with smaller eyes that have all now focused on you. And as it lowers itself down vertically at you from a 120-foot shaft, I'm asking you to make a Knowledge Arcana roll. With that roll, you now know that this is a beholder, but one that's really, really different because it's put out its central eye to learn the art of arcane magic. Hello, I'm Dwight Skull from Skull RPG, and today we're going to talk about 3 story ideas for beholders. Number 1, your players come into town and they are interacting with the populace, but they notice that everything's just a little too quiet. The market isn't bustling with noise, but it has a lot of people in it. If your players get a perception roll of 15 to 20, they will notice that everyone you meet has a glazed over look in their eyes. And a roll of 20 plus will identify that the people look like they've been charmed a lot of times. So much so that their will is finally broken down. They kind of look like zombies in the eyes. Not literal zombies, but just kind of dead inside. The players begin to investigate. They're going to be confronted by a small group of thieves that will try to intimidate the players into leaving the town. These thieves have also been charmed a lot of times. And now if the players battle this group, others in the market or wherever they're at will come to the thieves' aid. If the players decide to stay in town, whether they confront this group or not, they'll be confronted by a larger group led by an Tyrant beholder that has charmed the townspeople so many times in the last several years that all the townspeople do its bidding without needing to be charmed again. Basically, the town has magically induced Stockholm Syndrome because of this beholder. If the players can kill the beholder, the town will eventually go back to normal and the fighting will cease. If you would like to help these villagers recover from the beholder's Stockholm Syndrome, please click the like button for me. Thank you very much. Your donation will be applied shortly. Number 2, your players find a beholder mage. This is the thing I was talking about at the beginning of this entire episode. This is a beholder who wishes to learn the art of arcane spellcasting beyond the simple use of its innate powers. Now, there are several limitations, the greatest of which being its own anti-magic eyesight. However, some beholders were known to blind their own central eye so that they could study wizardry, becoming a beholder mage. The beholder then uses its gouged out eye as a spellcasting focus and was able to cast spells by wiggling and writhing its eye stalks. To learn spells of a new level, a beholder mage had to permanently sacrifice the innate power of one of its eye stalks to dedicate to that new level. A beholder can learn up to 10 new spells, but it removes all of its current innate abilities to go that far up. Now, doing this not only granted it access to more powerful spells, but it also negated the need for magical components. Further, beholder mages were so innately gifted with magic that they could simultaneously cast spells with each eye stalk that had been dedicated to their arcane studies. Again, use the same rule that you do for a normal beholder. They can cast 3 spells at a time, and it could be random, or given the intelligence, it may not be as random as you'd want it to be. And in such cases, they handled the conflicting verbal components by singing a complicated spellcasting song integrating multiple spells into it. This allows your beholder to cast almost anything a mage could if it was willing to give up an eye stalk for it. So change out a sleep or a charm for damage spells or area control spells. There's literally no limitation to what level of spells the beholder can cast, so adjust the challenge rating by how many levels of wizard or other spellcaster class you wish to give them. Number 3. As your players enter deeper into this underground cave, those with the highest perception will feel like they're being watched. As they move closer and closer to the lair of this beholder that they don't know is there, they will all feel like something is watching them and will begin to feel a sense of paranoia, starting with those with the weakest will. If the players continue onward, they will eventually come across a strange forest underground that has the bodies of many goblins impaled on the branches of these dead trees that somehow grew up underground. If they press on, they will eventually come to a portion of the cave that has what appears to be several pillars that are all interconnected with other rocky formations between them, and they seem to be holding up this entire 300-foot tall cave structure. Upon closer examination, the pillars show ugly 9-foot tall holes punched into them at several points, and all of these points are well off of the ground, except for one. One of these holes is at the bottom, but is only about 5 feet up off the ground. These pillars, the inside of them, are all hollow, and this is the beholder's lair. If the beholder saw the player's approach, it will lie in wait in that first pillar, about 60 feet up off the floor, so it can use its anti-magic gaze attack as the players stumble into a 20-foot radius opening that is that central pillar. If they wish to try to climb back out, they can either go in the way they came, which is again 5 feet up, or they can try climbing up the 30 feet to get to the rest of the complex. Now, of course, this is much easier if the beholder isn't there, because then they would have access to spells and such. Well, so I want to thank you for listening. Please hit the like button again to donate to a fund that will help those villagers recover from the Beholder Stockholm Syndrome, and take care.